All entities involved with me are me as I am them. And truly, if I'm bad, evil, or wrong as a human being, allow the truth to be something you can handle, not something you can't. I am a man who wants to find God, desperate to find his maker, desperate to find who God is, desperate to have a relationship with him. A tangible, actual relationship with God is more important to me than anything else in the universe, including the fact that I don't even know who he is until I have one. And I have to have one too. I insist that my relationship to God is tangible and that I actually understand what he's telling me, not have to interpret it through my feelings when I don't really know. Truly, I do not have a faith-based relationship with God because I don't want to believe in something I cannot see and shall not look upon or shall not hear or shall not listen to. Not truly, if I cannot hear his voice and know if I don't have witness to it, it's not to me something I could do. So having a faith-based relationship is not really a possibility in the sense that my frustration would say, if it's not tangible, it's not real. And if it is real and it's intangible, well, then show me how the tangible can become tangible and the intangible is already intangible. Then teach me how the intangible could become tangible, even if it's still intangible to everyone else. I want to believe that if I could have the privilege of talking to God, that it would be a real experience that was not pretended, faked, or an error in any other way, then I would want it to be a real experience, not pretended or made up or some illusion that was from insanity or the fact I'm crazy. If I was to get lucky enough to find I was talking with God, I certainly wouldn't tell him before he started talking to me that as long as everything he has to say meets my requirements, I'll continue to want to have a relationship with him. And as long as it seems that it benefits me, I wouldn't give him a warning or or contract to sign saying I won't talk to you until first you promise me you'll say everything I want to hear and only things that I like or would agree with. Because he would tell me if he could talk to me, you don't know who I am. And you certainly don't know anything about me. And if you want to have a relationship with me, you won't tell me first, depending on who I am or whether you like it or not when you learn who I am, because I'll tell you. It won't be that I won't be pissed at you or I'm not already pissed at you or how dare you want a relationship with me under certain conditions that has to be a relationship based on the idea of what you think God should be or is, when if it's true that you're going to have a relationship with God and he's willing to have one with you, it'll be an insult, an utter offense that you would actually tell him that he has to be the God that you expect God is before you even learn a thing about what he is, because he would consider it ridiculous then to talk to you at all or have any relationship with you at all. Because God is who he is, not who you wish he would be, because God is what he is. And it's not up to you to decide whether it's okay or not once you learn. If you have a relationship with God and having a relationship with him is the most important thing, then you won't dare think that you're going to be so disrespectful as to think ahead of time that you still don't know who he is until you do. What if he's not anything I thought he would be? What if I don't like who he is? What if I find out everything about him that I don't like or that I wouldn't want to be having a relationship with him after I learn who he is? Well, then understand. Hopefully he'll know that, and he won't have no relationship with you if you don't want to have a relationship with who he is. He already knows who he is. It's you that does not know who he is. It's you that might decide he's not the God that you thought he could be or would be or that you would worship or that you approve of, because you're still trying to find a relationship with him, and you're actually doing it on conditions that you didn't think you were already proposing to him. It's why you might need a faith-based relationship. He doesn't want to share any of his experience with you or actually let you see anything because you wouldn't even approve of him. Maybe he's the one to tell you that. You wouldn't like me. I've destroyed the world before all at once. I'm a murderer of men. Don't think I'm not. If you knew your God, you would fear him because he will kill and destroy and will do it again and again. And ultimately, you would not need to fear him if he would tell you, there's no need to fear me. If you're not here to offend me and utterly tell me who I should be or who I should not be, I already know who I am. It's you that does not know. I would want to have a relationship with God, and I would trust that is who I like and want to be having a relationship with. And I would not expect God to, I would hope he knows that I wouldn't put a condition on him saying that I don't know who you are yet, but if you come to me and actually tell me who you are, and once I know you, what if I don't like what you are or what you've done? Or what if I find out that you flooded the entire world and murdered a bunch of humans off? What if I don't like the God that you are? Well, if that's the case, I don't think you'll ever meet him. But if you did meet him, he would probably already be aware that you probably would accept whoever he is. And in fact, he might even decide to have a relationship with you or consider it, depending on the truth that he already knows what you're going to think and do and decide and not decide, thinking you already didn't decide or haven't decided until you get to know him. And while you don't know him yet, you'll want a relationship with him. And when you do know who he is, the fact that you may want to reconsider the whole thing or back out of it will just be a truth that you better know about. That there's no backing out of a relationship with God. There's only not recognizing it or seeing it in any tangible way. It's also why you won't ever see it in any tangible way. If you're strong enough to face God for who he is, and don't dare think that you would challenge him in a ridiculous idiotness to say that, God, I'm only going to want to have a relationship with you as long as you please me in every idea that whatever you're about to show me or you reveal to me, it has to be in lines with whatever I think God should be. He'll tell you, then you're not going to see me or know me, not ever, forever. So understand that if you actually had a relationship with God and he came to you and talked to you, he certainly wouldn't do it unless you were actually somebody that would be willing to accept who he is. And he would know already beforehand who you're willing to accept he is or not. He certainly wouldn't be willing to have a relationship with you or let you ever perceive it in a tangible way, anything. If you were already known to him as who you are, only going to be approving of him so long as it meets your idea of who he should be. And otherwise, may he blind you and keep you from his being a witness. Yeah, you would say, I guess I don't want to know God. Or anyways, I wouldn't even like him if I knew who he was. But maybe you'd love him if you knew who he was. Maybe you would like him, knowing who he was and who he is, that he does kill men and murder entire worlds, that he's tired of people screwing up and acting like they don't know what they're doing, pretending like they're not responsible for what they're responsible for, being absolutely two-faced, even to him. He certainly will not come to you as anything but something maybe bad. And if you really want a relationship with him, he might come to you in the form that he's bad just to show you how bad he is. And then why would you want a relationship with God if that's what he's going to do, is show you who he is? Is that okay? If that doesn't kill you, it's perfectly fine. If that doesn't destroy you instantaneously, then why isn't that great? Or why is that great? If it is that anything is great, then you'll accept that God is God. And that's okay. Because he'll also tell you this is not okay. It's perfectly okay with me. And if this is okay with you, it better be okay with me. And if it is okay with me that you got this, you better act responsibly with this, because I'll push you into something that you don't want nothing to do with, or I'll push you into something that you want everything to do with, depending on whether I feel like taking care of you or not, depending on whether I feel like abandoning you or not, leaving you to die in your misery and your life after life and death after death and breath after breath after breath, with no more breath and more breath. I want to say that if I had the courage to say to God, I accept who you are because you're God. I certainly will never question the fact that you're God if you are. And when you come to answer my prayers, I'll pray to you. And because you come to answer my prayers, I'll know who you are. Because if you can hear me, and you answer my prayers, it'll be obvious to me when you show up who you are. Who hears my prayers will be my God. And if someone else shows up pretending to be my God, it'll only be me that wants to accuse him of that. Because if I try to tell the devil or Satan, how dare you think you can come around answering my prayers when I'm looking for God, you might offend them, really piss God off. Hopefully you don't, because he's been unhappy with us for a long time. And he's certainly not a nice God anytime he wants to be. And anytime he wants to be nice, he is nice. And he could be loving and caring too, I'll bet. And I'm only saying I bet because I want to see it too. I definitely need a relationship with a God that loves me, cares about me. And even if he hates this whole world, I still want him to love me at least. Because I'm not this whole world. This whole world is me. And I don't like it much either. So I would ask God. I would say, I want a relationship with you, God, no matter who you are. If you're God, then that's who you are. And if this is the fact that this is you, it's God, then understand that I'm not telling you who you can be or how I approve of you or not. I wanted to have a relationship with you, and I was already considering that whoever God is who I accept, and it doesn't matter who he is or what he's like, because God is God. I certainly won't say that God shouldn't be God, or I found out who he is, so I don't like him anymore. What kind of ridiculousness is that? Disrespect your God like that? Well, you certainly don't know who I am, God says. But if you did, you might not like me so much. But understand, I don't like you so much either. And ultimately, to try and find a relationship with God under those pretexts and contents is rough, at best, practically impossible. Because if God ever said, I will love any man and I'll care about any man, and I'll even allow any man to be honored by me, well, certainly you'll be lucky, maybe luckier than me by far. Because I'll tell you what, when I met God, he wasn't very nice. And he certainly come off as anything I was afraid of him. And understand that I was also courageous and had plenty of strength, because I'd rather die than be abandoned by God. And I'd rather die than have no relationship with him or praise him on an intangible level where I can't even see him on a faith-based relationship. I don't want to have no faith-based relationship, have faith he's here when I don't even know, I can't see it. I want to see him here with me, talking to me. I want to witness his presence. I want to know he's with me. And understand, I'm not telling him who he has to be or who he should be or why, or question him about why he is what he's become and why in the hell hasn't he changed it. I'm not telling God how to be God. I'm only wanting to praise God and love him for who he is. And whoever he is who he is. I will never question it. I will always protect him, and he's God. And I don't care who he is. I just want him to be God. That's all I'm asking him, to be the God he is, because that's all I'm really concerned about. If I'm following a false God, well, then why is it not a true, real God? And if it's a false God I'm following, where's the real God? And why did a false one show up? And who am I to call God false? And how dare me to offend him like that, to call him false? I certainly wouldn't do it. And I apologize that I would ever stand in a collective of people that might question him or do it, because I would never do it. I would never disrespect God. I would never dare do it. Thank you.